I'm Kingsley, and today we'll be talking about the 5 ways to celebrate your happy marriage anniversary without breaking the bank. Now, this is one of the things I think a lot of couples have a hard time with is figuring out how to celebrate their anniversary, especially after the first few years, or if they in a downward economy like we're experiencing right now, where things are hard and people are losing their jobs or just not making it. Things are so expensive. The inflation is playing a huge part in what a person can do. And so people are making decisions and choices, and maybe you are like we have as a family, making certain decisions and on what we can or won't do right now, cut back on certain things, budgeted and so on. And so when we have an anniversary that comes up and we want to celebrate because we it's part of our journey, is a part of our the script that keeps our marriage happy, right? To have a happy marriage, what do we do without breaking the bank or putting ourselves in debt, additional debt beyond where we are right now? And so it's a struggle for a lot of couples, especially as I mentioned, in a downward economy that we're experiencing right now, or where again finances are just tough. It's hard, especially if you have children and trying to make every dollar stretch. And so anniversary rolls around, some couples postpone. They just simply say we just can't do it because we can't think of something to do without having to spend more money that the budget won't allow. So I believe that watching this video is important because I'm going to share with you 5 different ways you can actually do that without breaking the bank. It's not going to necessarily um, cost you a whole lot more, right? And so I want you to listen to that, and which we'll get to in a few moments. And if this is the first time you're listening to this video on this channel, I want to say thank you for being here. Number one, for taking the time to listen. And I hope you'll share this with others as well. And you might be saying, who is this person, Kingsley? Well, I'm going to say my name is Kingsley Grant, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and a certified relationship coach. Now, having counseled and coached hundreds, I mean, literally hundreds of couples over the last several years, almost 2 decades, right? Many of that being as a licensed marriage and family therapist, I mentioned before, but also being married myself almost 4 decades, right? Over 3 decades. We're right knocking on the door of 40 years. I know I don't look like it, but let's just go along with that for now. But yeah, over 3 decades. So I think I'm able to talk about topics like this with confidence because we have had to figure a way for us to celebrate. And I can say this, that there's times where we just had to sit still or do something very, very small just to make sure we keep the marriage idea alive and celebrating one more year, thanking God for one more year of marriage. So I hope that when you hear this, you'll see where I'm coming from and see where I'm speaking from a place of experience, both personal and also professional. And so let me also recommend, if you have not yet listened to my podcast, the Happier Marriage Secrets podcast, that you do so. You can find that at happiermarriagesecrets.com/podcast, happiermarriagesecrets.com/podcast. And also you can read the blogs that are there as well at happiermarriagesecrets.com/blog. And you'll hear more of my thoughts on topics that are similar to this one. Now, at the end of this video, I'll share with you how to get a free ebook on the topic of 5 secrets to your happier marriage, the marriage you've always wanted and so deserve. So that I'll tell you more how to get that at the end of this video. So what are the 5 ways to celebrate your happy marriage anniversary without breaking the bank? Well, here's the first one that I'm going to suggest. And I want to say this up front that we've done this maybe a handful of times, not a whole lot of times, because I'm not a fan, someone to speak of this one I want to mention. But I know my son is dating and is courting, actually engaged, and he done this with his spouse and his wife to be, right? So I I know for some people this is a very interesting one, and they love it, and that is have a picnic. Have a picnic. Now, some people have done that in their backyard. I know a couple who what they did was set up a tent in the backyard, and they actually slept out there one night. Just, it was safe. Of course, it's very safe area, safe neighborhood, and it was very nice weather. And they just chose to celebrate by sleeping in a tent. And but this is another topic, that another thing you could do as well if you have a tent. But have a picnic in the backyard or go to a park. Like my son would tell me that he and his fiance will go to a park in the area that they're living in. They live in another state, and they'll find a nice park and they'll go there and they'll have a picnic in the park. Now that's, very romantic and very nice for those who love that kind of stuff. But, you can have a lunch or dinner and, or maybe go to the beach, right? If you're a beach person. Now I've done that. We've done that. We've gone to the beach and packed a lunch and just hung out there, right? That's a very budget friendly outing. It's not going to cost you that much. Even some sandwiches. It's not like you have to bring this big meal, some sandwiches and some chips and just a drink. Just the idea is to be together. So have a picnic is one way that you could do that. What about going for a hike? Number two, or a walk. That you say, well, King's a hike or a walk for anniversary? Well, it all depends on how you look at that. Because if you're not a person who walks a lot with your spouse, this is different, right? Or if you choose a hiking path or a walking path you've not done, maybe a very romantic one. I've seen couples who, actually not couples, but I've seen people post picture on social media where they go for a walk in these nice, where all these trees are, and it seems so romantic, and just the leaves are on the ground, and depends on what time of year it is, and they're just walking, and if you're very much grounded, you could hear the leaves crackling on your feet and the birds chirping, and you listen to that, you're talking, you're reminiscing, and you're just having a great time. And that's another way to celebrate an anniversary. Again, it's budget friendly. We're talking about without breaking the bank, and it's just doing something that it's different, right? It's enjoying the outdoors, and it's quality time you spend together, especially if it's a very scenic hike or walking area. Where we live, my wife and I, we will drive sometimes by the water's edge. 'Cause we're not, we're a few minutes, maybe about 15, 20 minutes from the beach. And so we'll drive along a very selected part of the city where they have the road runs right by the beach. So you can drive in and looking across on the water. And it's very scenic because there's in some areas we had to drive through residential areas as well. And we look at the nice homes and just how they're made, and just, the luscious, the greenery. It depends on what time of year, of course. But we just have a very good tropical weather. So it's almost year round. And we'll see there's a scenic way that the old trees, how they're coming across the road and they're cut a certain way. So beautiful. But we're driving, we're not walking, right? But imagine driving walking or hiking or even bicycling on a path like that. And a great memory of that being done, because you're doing it together, especially if it's not something you do quite often, right? You could rent a bike for that day if you don't have bicycles yourself, right? Again, it's going to cost you a few dollars, but it's not much. It's not much to rent a bicycle, right? So you could, but if you can, don't even rent a bicycle, you can go for a walk or a hike if that is is close enough for you. Now, this one may be something that you may like, again, but this is not an anniversary. Why? Remember, it is how you frame it, is how you look at it. It's spending that quality time. It's intentional. It's setting aside the time just to do that. So number three is have a movie night at home, Now, that may not seem anniversary like, but imagine, stay with me for a second. Imagine that you and your wife just choose a certain movie, and the house is quiet, and the lights are turned down, and just sitting down there, and it's nice and cool in the house. if you have such a, whether it's air conditioned or the weather, and you're on a blanket and you have some tea or coffee and some chips or whatever it is, and you're sitting down and you're watching a movie together, undisturbed, no phone, just you and your wife, and being present in that moment. That is something that's different from what is constantly happening on a regular basis, because we're so busy, right? How often do you do this? How often have you done this? So this is give you a special movie night where you're snuggled up on the couch and some popcorn. And my wife and I, we do this on a regular basis. We will on a weekend watch some TV shows that we watch, some series of that, and we'll look forward to getting together to watch maybe one episode of that series on a weekend, or 2 episodes. And we'll just sit there and we'll watch and we'll talk about it, and we'll sometimes fall asleep, watching that. But again, it's just something we do, but this is an anniversary. It's just one of our regular habits we have made to spend time together. So for us, that may not be as special, because it's something we do on a regular basis. But imagine you don't have the time to sit with your spouse, just the two of you. Or if you're able to get away and do that together, it's much more. Again, we're trying to save money, right? We're trying to not be spending. So that's why I mentioned at home. These are budget friendly. And again, it's without breaking the bank. Number 4. Now, this is one that probably may be interesting, right? Go on a selfie scavenger hunt. Now, so Kingsley, a selfie scavenger hunt. Well, imagine even going back to the walk-in and the hiking and the scenic route. Imagine that you chose to do that, and you begin to take selfie pictures, right? Videos or still shots of that day, and you build memory, and you're having that on your phone. You share on social media about your anniversary and showing people how you spend your day together, right? All the beautiful pictures, and you of course going to go out of your way to pose for some. Let me recommend you don't go to the place like some people go to this Yellowstone park, where one of those states in the United States, where they'll go to the most dangerous part of the rock, the cliff, and stand on there and trying to get the most a picture, running the risk of their lives. And actually, couples have fallen to their death because they've put themselves at that edge, that rush, and then they lose their balance, and both people fall to their death. So I'm not recommending you do anything crazy like that, right? Be careful. Remember, safety is number one thing. So you want to just take some selfie pictures, some silly shots, or just goofy kind of things, and make it a selfie day. Right? Spend time walking and talking and taking those pictures. And then you're saving them as a special way. You can go back and look at how you spend that anniversary because you've saved those pictures, or share with families and close friends. And if some people who like to share their whole life on social media, then maybe you may want to do that as well. That's that's how you roll. Number 5, this is one where you may really think about, this is going to be how's anniversary about this? Well, listen, cook a special meal together. Now, if you're not a person who loves a kitchen, imagine your spouse, whoever loves a kitchen. Could be either, the husband loves to cook. My brother-in-law, he loves to cook. He is the one who's almost always in the kitchen because he loves to cook. It's in his blood, and he cooks very, very well. His wife doesn't mind because she benefits from that, but he loves to cook. And we've tasted a lot of his cooking, and I'm telling you, it's great. But imagine she joining him together and say they're going to spend their time to cook a special meal, right? Instead of dining out on the anniversary. And they've gone shopping and picked up a certain amount of groceries and certain items for that meal, and making it very special. So they spend the time picking out the items together, shopping together, coming home together, preparing and cooking the meal together. Don't tell me that will not be special. So that's again, very budget friendly, because you're going to do that without eating out. And I don't know if you've been eating out lately, but have you noticed how more expensive it's gotten? I mean, it's almost impossible to go and eat out at a restaurant for a meal for under $30. I mean, $30 US. It's almost impossible nowadays, right? So you could easily spend $80, $90, $100 on a date. it's a lot of money. So you're doing something like this, again, on a budget friendly, trying to save money, but this is very intentional and it sets a tone, spending time together. So you're cooking a meal together, it will be seen as a very special time together. So here are the 5 ways I believe that you can celebrate your happy marriage anniversary without breaking the bank. Number 1, have a picnic. Number 2, go for a hike or a walk. Number 3, have a movie night at home. Number 4, go on a selfie scavenger hunt, right? Number 5, cook a special meal together and just see what that does for your marriage. And remember, again, it's memories you're creating, and you can look back and say, especially in the downtime where the economy is really bad, you can look back and say, man, we survived, we weathered the storm, and we're on the other side, but we celebrated our anniversary, and it wasn't that special. Wasn't that special? So I recommend you do those things. And I'd love to hear if you have any other ideas. What if we just build a whole list of ideas in a comment section where a person can say, hey, yeah, you could do also this. So I would love to hear your thoughts, add to the list, and maybe that's available for people who come to look at this video, read the comments, and we'll see other things that you do for a budget-friendly anniversary that keeps your marriage, ticking, that keeps a spark going and keep the marriage happy. Share that with us in the comments below so we can keep this going. And I'd love to see what you share, what you've experienced, what you've done in your marriage, or some recommendations that I didn't cover, of course, in this short video. So again, thank you for taking the time to listen. Let me encourage you to, again, listen to the podcast I mentioned before. All the links will be below in this video. But also, I mentioned about the ebook, a special gift, which is an ebook that I mentioned before. So you can have that by going to Kingsley Grant, KingsleY, KingsleyGrant.com/HMS ebook, HMS, which is Happy Marriage Secrets, short HMS ebook. And that's where you get it, KingsleyGrant.com/HMS ebook. The links will be below in this video in the comment section, and you can also get it there, right? So I look forward to hearing from you and seeing what your thoughts are on this. And again, thank you for being here with us, and my friend, peace out. God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video. Okay, peace out.